What's up guys, Volt here bringing you a brand new Fast and Furious car remake. In today's remake, I'm bringing the 2012 Nissan GT-R R35 from Furious 7. This car was not really shown too much in the movie. It was at the very end where Brian is driving it, trying to hide Ramsey from God's eye, and it gets blown up and destroyed, and it's a very sad scene. As you can see, my character's actually in the outfit that I came up with for Brian anyways, but I thought, why not make this car? This is one of my personal favorite GTRs. I know there are other ones. I know he has a silver one, and I think it is Furious 7 as well as a light bluish version. If you guys want me to try to recreate those, let me know down in the comment section down below. Before I do go on, I want to let you guys know that this is my representation and my build, my design for this car. I think it's the closest thing you can recreate in GTA Online to replicate the R35 or the GT-R in-game as is for right now. If you upgrade this car, it turns into this Nissan Skyline, which is an R34, so it's kind of like downgrading it but upgrading it at the same time. It's kind of weird, but yeah, this car is, well, it's fairly easy, like quick to build. It's not hard to do. I mean, it didn't cost me too much to do, and I've been sitting on this car for a while. I thought I would actually make this car. This isn't really a requested car, it's just one that I personally like. Like I said, it's my personal favorite R35. I wouldn't say it is everyone's, but it is definitely mine. So as always, we go to the internet. Let's go find that base price, which we go to the Travel and Transport website. If you actually decide on upgrading it later on, like you don't like this car that much, you want to upgrade it to maybe his blue R34 or maybe a silver and blue one if you don't have it, or just get rid of it in general and maybe upgrade it to a Skyline instead of having it as a kind of quote-unquote GTR. It does kind of look like one personally. Then I would definitely go from Benny's. If not, just go to Legendary. You can actually sort by price, and it should be in like the either free section for most people. If you're not a member, then I think it's like $95,000 or something like that. It's not too expensive. It's a pretty cheap car to build, but it is pretty much a starter car for most people. The Elegy RH8 is the one you're going to go for, and for me it's free. Like I said, if it's not for you, it's probably like $90,000 to $95,000. To probably max this car out, performance and customization wise, you're spending, I would say, probably no more than $150,000 to $175,000. So get your color, get your car, and let's go into the LS Customs. So as we pull in, the NS Elegy RH8 is in the sports category. So as I go over all my builds, I go over the overall look, the visual appearance, and the basic design, and the car and how it's portrayed in the movie, game, or anywhere else in general itself. Anything else I don't go over is completely up to you. I just put a few staples in that if you wanted to recreate my build or my design, or use this to kind of implement on your own design, then just a few things you want to follow throughout the video. So without further ado, let's get into the build. So to start things off, we're going to go to the bumpers. We're going to go to the front bumpers, and we're going to keep the stock bumper. Now for this build, this car actually had pretty much basically carbon fiber all the way around the bottom. And I'll explain how I did this. So like I said, it's fairly cheap because we're going to keep the front bumper stock, and then we're going to move on to the rear bumper, and we're going to also keep that stock. So I'm going to do this little bit of exhaust, get rid of that, fumes, so you can hear, and you can see this. There we go. It's in stock. It is carbon. But yeah, you always want to keep this one stock. From there, we move on to the exhaust. Now, this is completely up to you. I personally went with the dual titanium exhaust. I think they're wide because his exhausts are really wide, really like a big bore type exhaust, but you can't really do that. They didn't have much customization for this car. That's probably why they made the Elegy Retro Custom, of course. But the dual titanium exhaust is my choice because it is pretty much all chrome. The race exhaust is pretty much the size you want. The sad thing is it is like titanium tipped, and it just doesn't look right for this car personally, at least for this build. The car doesn't look bad, but the build itself, it looks terrible. So that's why I went with the dual titanium exhaust. After that, move on to the grille. You just want to keep that stock. It didn't have any kind of like mesh or intercooler in it. It probably had an intercooler behind this mesh, but you couldn't really see it. And it didn't really have a tow hook either. So for the most part, the car's basically stock, except for the exhaust. So from there, we move on to the hood. You want to put in a carbon hood because it does have like a couple, I don't really know, hood scoops. I don't think they're really hood scoops, though. I think they're more like hood indents or inserts or something on it. I'll show pictures on screen so you guys can see what I mean. And yeah, the best option for me personally is the carbon hood because it was a carbon hood. After that, move on to the lights. You just want to keep the headlights stock, and if you can afford it, or if you really want to, you can make it a little bit more believable in the build and a little bit more closer to the build if you take it to the arena, just like I did for the T20, or you can do for the T20 from Hobbs & Shaw, and put the white lights on. You'll be spending a little bit more money, but like I said, it'll be a lot closer to the build. If you can't afford it, just keep the stock lights. Still the best option. There's no neon kit on this car, none at all, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. You'll understand why. After that, move on to the plate. It was a California plate, so my best option is a blue on white 2, and the custom plate you want to come up with is 3JRQ158. Again, that is 3JRQ158. And this is the plate that is actually on the car in real life, or in the movie too, I guess you could say. Both, pretty much. Same respray for last, we move on to the roll cage. The roll cage, there was no roll cage. Unfortunately, it didn't have a roll cage. I thought it did at first, but actually looking through a lot of the actual pictures and even like most of the actual merchandise that they made for the car, there's no roll cage. So, no roll cage. Again, for the most part, stock. You're not going to be spending that much, maybe more in performance than anything. After that, move on to the roof. Again, just keep it stock. It wasn't a carbon roof. It was nice, clean, and primered out paint job on top. After that, we move on to the skirts. Now, the skirts you do want to change. I put on the custom skirts too. Main reason is because these do go down, but I don't feel like they go down enough. So I put these on, and they go a little bit more, a little lower, but they do still kind of make it flush with the front bumper to an extent, which is interesting. The back bumper, not so much, but that you can't really flush that per se, I don't think. But yeah, I think the custom skirts too are the best option. They go down a lot further, and in the pictures I'll show from a guy actually like going around the car itself, because I'll be having pictures from the movie and the actual car that a guy was recording with his phone or something, and you'll see the skirts are going down pretty far. So that's what I went with, his custom skirts too. If you can't afford that, or if you don't want to, I would just go with stock skirts personally. From there, we move on to the spoiler. Now, there is two options for this. Either you can keep it none. The best option, personally, in my opinion, is the high-level spoiler. I know it has this little bit of, like, I don't know how to say it, like a little bit of raise in the middle. Like it goes straight over, and then it raises up, and then over, and then down, and then back over. Unlike the actual, stock one, the stock one's kind of bent in a little bit more. As you can see, the side wings are actually, the side fins, I guess you could say, are actually kind of bent in more. So that's why I went with the high level spoiler. They're just kind of straight up and down. Got a lot more of a smaller look to it, like a shorter look to it as well. These seem a little bit too high, personally. So that's why I went with the high level spoiler. Again, you can choose what you want, your choice. After that, we move on to the suspension. I put personally on the street suspension. The three options that I recommend that you do put on is either street suspension, sport suspension, or competition suspension. The main reasons I say this is because this car never had any neon, but it did have another feature for the car in general underneath. That being bags. If you don't know what bags are a kind of mechanism that you can put inside a car if you want to lower it or raise it kind of manually with a mechanism inside the car, like a button or something. And like I said, you can either have it raised, you can have it lowered, your choice. But unfortunately, we don't have bags in the game. That'd be kind of cool if we did. But again, street suspension, sport, or competition, you take your pick. I personally went with street. After that, we move on to the wheels. You want to go to wheel type, you want to go down to the sport category, and you want to go to the stock rims. I personally put on the rough weld rims. The main reason for this is because it's a 5-spoke rim, and each of the spokes at the very end kind of curve into the actual rim or the wheel well itself, and it just looks better in my personal opinion. Also, the rivets on the middle part actually kind of match the actual rims that are actually on the car as well. So best option in my opinion is the rough weld. I know you can also go into the street category and find the rough weld in here as well, but personally I think they're too sunken in, they're too deep. Ones actually on the car in the movie are a lot further out, so the ones I went with are just the regular rough weld. After that, we move on to the wheel color. You just want to make them black, mainly because the car rims in the movie, and actually in the pictures I'll show, they're black. I mean, anything, you could probably go with the carbon black, but I would just go pure black, personally. Just nice and black. And they actually fit this car really nicely. You'll see that it fits this color, and this, like, the rims and all that stuff will actually fit it a lot better at night. Mainly because the car was, I would say, mostly shot at scenes at night, quote unquote, or were supposed to be at night. The color looked a lot darker than you think. And it does look a lot darker in the dark, too. Tires, tire design, there's no custom tires, don't worry about adding that. Tire enhancements, you can add bulletproof tires on if you wish. More realistic if you didn't, I think, personally. Because he had bags on, I don't think he would have bulletproof tires, personally. But, again, I'm not sure. So, your choice. And tire smoke, white tire smoke. Always white tire smoke. After that, we move on to the windows. You want to put a dark smoke on. Now, I was going to put a limo on, but it's just, in the sunlight, it's just too dark. And I feel like it's more basic towards, like, Fast and Furious 1 and 2. I wouldn't say 7. I don't think his GT-R is that dark. If anything, I would say a dark smoke is perfect. If you really wanted to, you could put limo on, but me personally, I think more spot on to the build would be a dark smoke. Because you can see through a little bit, but not a lot. Limo, you can't see through it all. And I will see you guys in 2 seconds with a rolled steel primer color. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have my car in my primered out rolled steel. Kind of looks like the white one or the silver one he had from, I think it was the beginning of Furious 7, I believe. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. If you really wanted to, I could actually recreate that one too. Alright, so for this one, I did not create a custom crew color. Mainly because I didn't feel like I needed one. I feel like I could actually recreate this in GT Online. That's another reason why I wanted to do this build. I want to do builds that are not only just crew colors, but also you're able to create it by yourself with the LSC colors. So you want to go to metallic, you want to go down to the blues, and you want to find yourself the Galaxy Blue. You want to purchase that for both the primary and the secondary. So there we go, Galaxy Blue. Now you're probably thinking, that seems a little bit too dark. You are right. We're actually going to change the pearlescent of it. So you want to go back to the primary, you want to go back to the pearlescent, and you want to go down and you want to find the Racing Blue. This gives it a lot more blue tint, but not too much. I actually tried an ultra blue. It's just too bright. At night, it's just too bright. It's just too shiny. It shouldn't be that shiny at night. But this gives it just enough shine in the daytime and just enough shine, if not, you know, a little bit underwhelming at night. It's more expensive. Well, it's actually a little bit cheaper than the ultra blue, but I personally think it's a lot better than anything. So Racing Blue is the pearlescent you want to go for. And that is it. That is how you recreate the 2012 Nissan GT-R R35 that Brian drives in Furious 7. Again, they're trying to hide Ramsey. I think he was the very first car that she was in, but I'm not really sure. I haven't watched it for a while. It was Paul Walker's last movie. And yeah, I mean, it's my personal favorite GT-R. So let's go outside. It's going to be probably nice and dark out. And there we go. We're outside. Yes, I am in a public session. 29 people. As you can see, people are leaving. People are dying. People aren't dying, which is kind of a shock, actually. Oh. Okay, well, I think I'm in a lobby, but oh, no, never mind. So the Elegy RH8 is actually a really nice car. It doesn't sound like a GT-R, personally. It doesn't really sound too great. I feel like it could have a little bit better of a sound. I'm not really sure what, but as you can see, in the dark, it looks like the one from the movie. In certain lightings, you know, going through certain lightings like this, you can tell the difference. In the dark, which I don't know if this is really like dark, but you know, it's really, really dark. It's not too shiny on the pearlescent. I think it turned out really good. I was hoping that the street rims actually came up with a better rim for this, but I think the rims I came up with are, you know, they work pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with this build. Most people think that I build these cars and I get rid of them. No, that's not the case. I've had this car ever since I started playing GTA. I've just changed it up so many times, and you know, it just collects dust in the back of my closet, or you know, my garage, I guess. And I thought I would dust it off, work on it a bit, see what I could do, put a custom plate on it, change out the pearlescent, change out the paint, check out the modifications, do a little bit more research on it, and boom, there you go. There's the car. So I want to let everyone know that I do get a lot of messages saying, hey, how do I get this crew color? Hey, can I get this crew color? Hey, is this the crew color that is on your crew right now? If you guys ever have a question, or if you guys ever want a color that I already created, or I have, in one of my videos, as my custom crew color for the crew, I will put it up. All you gotta do is just comment on the video saying, hey, can I get this as the custom crew color? I will put it up, and you will have one full day of that crew color, and then it'll be changed back, unfortunately. And that goes for everybody. I will not cut it short for anybody. I won't extend it unless I don't really care about changing it. As of right now, it is a kind of like gold. I think it's my Morimoto build. So just thought I'd let you guys know that. You guys have any questions, you can always ask me down in the comments. Like I said, I do appreciate you guys actually watching the videos, checking them out, providing critiques, providing feedback. I think I do pretty good because most of the time I don't really get much feedback saying, oh, this is wrong, you should use this, and I have proof, and you put a link and then I click it and it takes me to information or shows me information or a video or something. So I think I'm doing pretty good on my builds. You guys let me know. I do appreciate every single one of you support, even just the people that just click on it randomly that aren't even subscribed. As always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down in the comment section for what car you want me to build or want me to try to build, or any kind of vehicle you want me to try to build. Only one suggestion, please. Don't put like 4 requests in one. And yeah, I think that's gonna pretty much be it. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.